All right. I think I'm streaming. I'm going to double check and see if everything is set up. I didn't even log into my account here. So I'm going to view my channel. And yeah, we're live. Okay. Hello. Might be thinking, what the heck are you doing? First of all, this is my first stream ever. I've never done these live streams. This is interesting. And second of all, just want to take the opportunity and use essentially live streaming here on YouTube as my way of, I don't know, maybe showing behind the scenes, a way for you to get to know me a little bit better, that kind of thing. So I guarantee 99% of people are not watching this live. So that's kind of a relief, which is a good way to test things out. And I'm also doing this because I want to, it's a good practice to be in front of the camera as often as possible and to just flow, I think. Maybe sometime in the future I'll have someone else on the stream with me. I don't know. But, quality, I'm not too worried about that right now. It's more about quantity, putting the reps in, doing this more and more and more often until I get very comfortable. Right now I'm not comfortable. I'm kind of forcing myself to do this, but I'm hoping to get comfortable with this. So like Steve Martin says, I have a little note to myself here: persistence is a great substitute for talent. So here we go, bypassing that discomfort. I also want to keep an archive of more or less my progress using this medium and doing this the way I'm doing this. I'll get into what the project is and all that good stuff, but I want to introduce myself first and foremost and tell you what the heck I'm doing here and why this and why now. So my name is Caesar, and I have a background in design, in marketing, and a huge interest in knowing how people succeed in their craft and the thing that they do. Not only that, I'm drawn to anyone who has that entrepreneurial spirit. Like they, not only spirit, but I'm super fascinated by people who have done things for themselves, who have built essentially their own worlds. And I'm drawn to that because I want to do the same thing, build my own world essentially, and provide a big value to others. So why this project? What I'm doing here is I am pretty much talking about people that I'm like highly interested in, kind of their backgrounds, what makes them tick, how they do their work, how they got so good. And I think there's going to be a common thread between everyone that that I talk about on this project. I first got this idea from, there's this book, and in fact, I think I have it right here. There's this book called The Daily Rituals, and I've been reading different versions of the book. This is another copy. Couldn't find the original one. Different versions of the book, and the reason, like, I'm super drawn to people's, artists, writers, ways of doing their work. And it's also inspiring to me, especially the legends that we now know who, for the longest time, weren't doing their craft 100% of the time. They were working a day job, raising a family, doing other things as a means to live while building this other thing so they can eventually dedicate 100% of their time to that thing. And lo and behold, here I am, working during the day. Right now it's a little bit late at night, which is probably not a good time to do a live stream. And it's the one thing that I would like to accomplish for myself and to provide for my family. So, kind of long story short, that's what I intend to do. And these profiles here are more than anything a form of kind of a push for us to do a little bit, step it up a little bit, do more than what's expected, to work harder, essentially, and without killing ourselves, of course. But anyway, a couple of reasons. Easy to read, right? So I want to take the same model and transfer the same model to video and to the podcasting format, so audio. I also have this. I built this whole thing out where I'll be publishing audio as well as video. And you might be asking, like, why the heck? Like, who are you even? Why are you doing this? So my name's Caesar. I don't know if I already said that earlier, but I have a background in design and marketing, but I also hosted a podcast. And this is about 10 years ago. It was both a video and audio format. So I had the podcast living here on YouTube, and you can still find it out there on YouTube, and also published the audio version. And there are a ton of things that I learned through that experience. Number one, it was a interview podcast where I would invite guests and talk to them and ask questions, have them talk about their careers, how they did what they did. And these are people who were kind of remarkable in their fields. So a lot of creative types, designers, writers, filmmakers, producers of some sort, builders of creative businesses. And I've always been attracted to that. I've always been attracted to knowing how others have done it. Because there are so many times where it feels like it's very difficult to do it yourself. I'll speak for myself. I find it almost, there are times when it feels unattainable. And speaking to people who have done that and are now on the other side, helps us believe that it's possible, and there isn't too much that's different between us. I do believe if you have you have a core set of skills and knowledge and the energy to push forward and do something remarkable, that you could definitely do it. And so I was inspired early on. We're talking 10 years, right? 10 years ago, to do this. I also experienced a little bit of, you could say, success or notoriety with the previous podcast project. And I mean, to the point where I was being recognized at events, and I was showing up to events. I thought that was both strange but kind of cool, right? That you can build something yourself. Now, I did have to stopped the podcast for a couple of reasons, and I'll just say it out loud right now. Number one, I learned about myself that it's kind of it took a lot to schedule these chats with strangers, people that I kind of knew about because of the internet, because of different platforms and mediums. And I also, my wife and I at the time, we were like, hey, we've got to start a family. Mind you, I was working full time and doing the podcast, say editing, piecing things together, pushing out content, really, to additional content to bring attention and awareness to the project. And so it took a lot of energy from me. And then I also had the smart idea of writing a book. And the whole reasoning behind it was, again, to get attention on, bring attention to the project, and get more eyeballs and ears to learn through this project that I was doing. Now, my mistake was I didn't have a clear goal. There wasn't really any clarity. The only thing that was definitely clear was that I wanted to learn from these folks. And this was almost like an excuse for me to learn from others in public. Okay. I think it was a mistake because there was no clear, I wouldn't even say end goal, but there was no clear way to keep pushing forward, keep growing the project. Of course, like just about anyone else who dedicates a lot of time into a thing, especially like this, where there are opportunities to grow it, the clear avenue is getting some kind of revenue coming in. So I dabbled in some advertising, and that was taking a major toll on me, man. Like it was a lot of work to get advertising onto the platform, and then grabbing analytics, and then going back and forth with the companies who were advertising their products on the podcast. And then you got distribution. Where are we distributing this? And it just goes on and on to this kind of murky space. That was way too much for me. There was also the scheduling part. It was just way too much. So I had to stop. And also, as I mentioned, we wanted to start a family. We wanted to really dedicate time to that. So we had to take a major pause, like a life pause, or excuse me, a pause on the project to dedicate my energy to my life. That's really what it came down to. Fast forward to today, lucky to have children, and wife went through that, and it was tough. But knowing my personality, I'm very much not only a creator but an entrepreneur. And so I did something that you might think, "Oh my God, like you're so crazy. What are you doing?" And I decided to quit my job and become a freelancer. And so I did, and it was, you could say, a great success the first year. But after that first year, it got a little bit harder, a little hard, and then it got harder and harder and harder as I went on. And so I had to figure something out for myself, because freelancing was no longer, you could say freelancing or consulting or agency work. I was pretty much doing all of the above, and I was doing all of that uh, under one roof, one name, whatever. But I was doing way too much work, and I was trying to figure out how to hire help, and then I didn't want it to get into the margins and all this. It's just this crazy stuff. Mind you, I have to admit it was super stressful and way too much on me, my family, my health, everything. And so I had to make a quick decision, and I decided to go back into a W-2. I became an employee again. Luckily, it's in the design and marketing space, so it's the same type of work that I've been doing for many years, and I have more than 15 years of design experience. The marketing side of things, I had to teach myself within those 3 years of working for myself. So that was definitely a learning experience. And do I recommend it for anyone out there to do it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's for everyone. But I am. Whoops. I'm watching myself doing my live stream. It's a little delayed, but cool. So it's working. My point is, I still have that entrepreneurial spirit. I still want to build something, and so I've touched and dabbled in different projects and different things, and ultimately I decided that I keep going to back to reading and in a way to sort of not be on screens the way I may have been in the past. I notoriously watch a little too much YouTube, but what I've noticed is that the kind of videos that I'm attracted to, that I'm drawn to, and I watch on and on over and over again are educational videos still in the creative and entrepreneur space. People who are building businesses, people who are doing some really cool stuff. And I'm learning so much from everyone all the time. But I also hate the feeling of being a consumer. And I think making things is far more valuable than consuming things. So I figured, why not do the two things? I was watching an interview. I was watching a video of Francis Ford Coppola, and it just appeared in my feed. Okay, so it was like meant to be, I guess. Whatever. It appeared in my feed, and it was Francis Ford Coppola talking about a notebook that he built, which became The Godfather. And of course, I know about Francis Ford Coppola. I know about his wine business. You see his bottles all in stores everywhere. I know a little bit about him. I know about his daughter, for example, who's also in filmmaking. What I didn't know is how he jumped into the Godfather project, and it kind of blew my mind. And you can find the video in on YouTube. Maybe I'll link it if I can after this. But I was so fascinated, and I think that, and that sparked my interest in doing this and trying this project out. Now, I am very well aware of other people in the space who are, you could say, successful and doing great and building similar projects themselves. And I still haven't quite figured out how I'm going to differentiate this project like completely. Other than, there are so many profiles of people for different reasons, different things. There's always space for more and for other perspectives. So I'm not too worried about, this, Caesar's doing the same thing as, person XYZ and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't worry me. I think the more you do these things, which is one of the reasons I'm doing this live, by the way, the more you do these things, the better you get, because it's all about practice. It's all about putting in the repetitions. It's all about doing it over and over and over again. And, it reminds me of cooking. After having kids, there's a lot of cooking, a lot of cleaning involved. Unless you have help, God bless, great. I'm happy for you. In my case, we have to do the cooking and the cleaning. And so we'll kind of tag team, my wife and I. And I've found myself in the last few years how much I enjoy cooking. That was never the case. Before kids, it wasn't the case. But I enjoy it, and also noticed how much better my cooking has been. My cooking is much better today than it was even 1 or 2 years ago, and that's because I'm putting in the effort, and it's that repetition, and getting into that sort of Zen place where you're repeating and repeating something over and over again, that it starts to become natural to you. I believe it works the same way for a project like this, like this medium, speaking into the microphone, doing video, doing audio, talking consistently, sharing ideas, sharing knowledge, learning at the same time with one another. And so I find this medium much easier for me to produce something of high quality while still learning from some of the greats. And I'm not only selecting the Francis Ford Coppolas of the world or the Neil Youngs of the world. Those are my the first profiles, episodes, videos. But people are doing truly unique, interesting, creative things that'll inspire us to do cool, interesting, unique, creative things. Both living and dead, doesn't matter. People who are building cool things, doing really neat things, or who have done it in the past. And I think it's highly valuable. I wrote some notes here for myself so I don't get too in the weeds. I do apologize if you're watching this in the future. Sorry. But everyone calls me Caesar. Yes, Spanish version is Cesar. Caesar is kind of what I grew up with, so I could care less how you pronounce it. Let me see. Married, have kids, got into freelancing, got into business. I'm still chugging away, figuring out the pieces. Why Modernote? I think that, first of all, Modernote is like any other nerd out there. I found the domain and I was super excited about it. Excited that I found the domain. And I initially got it for a business idea that I've had. And it's still percolating in my head, but whether I go through with this particular business idea, which I'm not going to talk about yet, but if I go through with this business idea or not, I still think that media is the best thing that we could do. It's important. It's important to put ourselves out there and create content, create media, like some kind of some valuable media. So whether I move forward with the business idea or not, that's irrelevant. I think start with something and I'll have a clearer idea of whether or not I want to push forward with it. I also believe that writing is important. I also believe that writing can change our lives. I haven't been writing as much lately, as I was for a while. So I would journal, take note, make sure that, I have things that are percolating in my head, that I put them down on paper, because you do synthesize your ideas And I do also believe that when you write it down on paper, it subconsciously pushes you in that direction. Okay, so if you're writing your goals and dreams and your aspirations, or if you forget aspiring, because I learned this from Robert Rodriguez: never aspire, just be. Right, and that's going to be one of my upcoming videos, to be, not aspire. So never say I'm an aspiring writer, I'm an aspiring filmmaker, I'm an aspiring designer, aspiring artist. You are an artist, you are a filmmaker, you are a writer, you are. Just be. Okay, so anyway, write it down on paper, repeat it to yourself. If you repeat it on paper, even better. It's very important. So Modernote, that's the background right now. I did design the logo, and I chose the typeface and all that fun stuff. The subtle dark color in the background, or dark color, and the off white. That's all just some stuff that I love and I've liked for a long time. And I wanted to keep it simple. I wanted to be direct and to the point, which is why I've chosen not to use any music or any fancy intros or outros and all that stuff, which is kind of the lingo that you pick up when you get into producing this kind of stuff. And I think that's it. Modernote, I'm excited about it. I'm not gonna have a specific schedule, but I will be as consistent as humanly possible, while providing better and better and better value as I keep producing these things. Yeah, so I'm excited about this. If you're watching this in the future, because right now I have no people watching, and that's fine. I didn't expect anyone to watch. But if you're watching this in the future, I hope that my rant and the little bit that I shared here is helpful. I hope that you don't feel alone. I hope that you believe in the thing that you are, because no one here is aspiring. We are what we are. Okay? That I hope that you learn a thing or two or a handful or a lot of stuff that you could apply to your life and your business. Just go out there and let's just get this going. Let's do it, man. So thank you, and hope to catch you on the next one. Thanks.